don't stop. See the pop? I do like the pop. I was always more of a popper and breaker, but I've always loved dancing in all kinds of ways. So I'll do a little pop here and there, but I definitely don't. No, we don't stop. And when I say we don't stop, I mean ever. I sound like an eternalist because I am. Because what I've learned is that life continues no matter what. And as I consider this today, and I really kind of embrace the pop to awaken me to my Pip, the power and presence from the purpose of pain. I really want to delve into some matters around that, and I'm going to be doing that in the following week's videos. Tomorrow is a big day for me. I call it more or less kind of a rebirth day, which I will explain a lot more tomorrow in a video I'll put out there. But in considering right now, really considering the presence in my world today, really looking at the elements that have really been impactful as of late for me personally, and really just on a global scale, massive developments happening fast. Considering some things just around the last week or so. We get through Holy Week last week, when Christ is crucified, resurrected on Easter, celebrated internationally. Jesus, pretty big guy in the world, huge influence. And then the day after, Pope Francisco dies, the leader of the Catholic Church, a massive presence in the world these last many years. And considering what he's done, I look at that. I don't know and don't follow a lot of the Pope and the Catholic Church, but I understand the presence he's had, which has been an immense one with developments around some of the issues in the world today, especially to my view on a social scale. What he brought was something different. But he dies. We know he was suffering there. We know he was struggling there. He pops up and he does some cool stuff before he goes. He heals and prays and presents the goodness to the people. And then it's time to rest. He says, that's my time here in this human form. And he goes. So considering these recent developments on a large scale, but then even delving into my own current times, which I want to really, kind of discuss today around the Pip, the power in presence, and how today, specifically, so much has really been churning for me. It's a little after 10 a.m. here. I'm in San Diego, so 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on April 24th, 2025. As I think about what that is, what led the recent ongoings, and in such a massive scale, trying to slow it down and try to kind of pace myself and with all that's going on. Hence, you can see I'm wearing Speedy Gonzales shirt. A couple things I want to address around that. One, I understand Speedy is under the umbrella of cultural appropriation. More or less, we got to recognize that. How the Mexican culture, through Speedy, has been put down. So this morning when I woke up and decided to put on my Speedy Gonzales shirt, which I do have one, as you could see, and I've worn it before, and I don't wear it very much now, but I woke up stirring on so many things, trying to tie up, put a little ribbon on my whole process with this F3. I've been talking about the fight, flight, freeze response, very common concept around how humans respond, how we survive, how we deal with things as they come. Stimulus, both external and then the internal, the triggers more or less, and what we do with those. And that's where, again, I try to, really consider the Pip, how we can come to ourselves, how we can find that presence within to then apply rather than just shoot off to the fight, the flight, or the freeze. So in tying some of that up, I was also really drawn into the last week of so much happening in the world. Easter, again, Pope Francis dying the day after, and then some other developments personally for me with people I know, loved ones, clients, family, friends that have lost their lives, that have moved on very recently. So with that, I want to kind of discuss what I'm doing currently to get into my Pip and find that Pip so I can continue to do what I am here to do, to live and to learn to live better, to learn to grow as an individual further, and to learn to share that and receive it with others. So in considering and in all this that's going on, I look at this morning, I'm up and I'm charged. I'm like, whoa, I got to go into some of this stuff. And again, I've been on this F3 thing that I want to say, truly, the fight, flight, freeze, and how we face it and how we find ourselves through facing it rather than running away from it, hiding from it, stuffing it, burying it, saying face it, find ourselves within and then free ourselves to flow. So today, like I've said, we don't stop. We continue. Our flow continues. And as I'm trying to flow with my essence, flow with the universe and the earth and everything around, it's given me great thoughts and feelings to nurture my presence even more. So waking up this morning, I'm stirring on so many things. I'm like, oh man, I gotta slow down. And I'm like, oh cool, I have an appointment at 8 o'clock with my therapist. Good, man, I got my resource, a great resource, finding our resources, finding our guides, finding those that can nurture our goodness while we battle with life, but while we also embrace it. So I was looking forward to that, but in the meantime, I was up so early. I was like, oh man, I can't just stay with this energy. So what I did is I go and think about the shirt I'm gonna put on this morning. I didn't even think about it. Speedy was there and said, you're putting me on for more reasons than just, I love Speedy Gonzales. As my favorite character, cartoon character growing up when I was a little boy living in San Diego. I found Speedy, Speedy found me. And I was like, oh man, he's entertaining. Look at him zipping around, doing all these cool things, doing a little wild, he's a little wild guy, cool hat, cool look, cool vibe, cool accent. Man, I kind of want to be like Speedy. Not understanding all the developments of Speedy happening. This is in the 70s when I'm a little boy. Having been exposed to Mexican culture, moving to San Diego when I was 2.5, conceived here, moved away, born in New York, back here at 2.5. With that being said, I was exposed to Mexican culture early stage. We had a maid when I was a little boy who lived with us. She was pregnant. She had a baby eventually, and they were family. I'm like, this is great. She treats me great. She takes care of our house. My mom and her have a cool thing going. My mom's working her Spanish. All cool, all good stuff. And I'm learning about making quesadillas and loving them. Still making me a quesadilla to this day. But besides that, it's exposure. I get exposure to another culture. I get to embrace that other person, those other people that are different from me because they're from another country. Well, she's from another country. She has a baby here, and I love them. I feel the love from her baby. And it's almost like I'm the youngest of my family, so I got like a little baby brother for a minute here. That's kind of cool too. So considering just how life goes. Life keeps going, even in death. That's why they call it afterlife, I suppose. But really taking in a little bit more around, well, I was talking Speedy. I wake up and I'm rolling, I'm turning, I'm ready to do stuff and ready to write stuff and share stuff and put it out there. But I'm going too fast. I'm like Speedy. And Speedy says, put me on. Go Gonzales. I'm trying. I'm going. And I'm going a little too fast. So I got to ground myself. So I get up early enough where I got some work to do before I start my meetings and appointments this morning. And I go to the garden. The other day I bought a plumeria so I can put it in the garden. Oh, Speedy, thanks for letting me put you on today, because you did help me bring down my speediness. Going on in the garden, mixing dirt, finding a good spot for my plume, digging out the ground, tilling the soil. That's what I did, tilling the soil, and I am present to the soil. I am present to my breath, present to myself, slowing the process down, because there is so much going on in the world. There's so much going on in my world, personally. So I'm trying to also express why practice in presence. What I've called to another PIP, which is practicing intentional presence. So I can learn to embrace and one with the power in presence. So you PIP to PIP from the pop. Now taking all that in, I get in the garden. I'm looking forward, okay, cool, I'm gonna see my guy at 8 o'clock. You can work dirt, checking the time a little here and there, but just in the zone. So I didn't lose that focus in the presence of what the dirt was doing. Plumeria was telling me, hey, put me there. Working the car, found the spot, slowing at speed. And in considering, again, cultural appropriation as exhibited by the character that is Speedy Gonzales, I reflect on my youth a little bit, my relationship with Speedy Gonzales, how he came to me, whatever. Cartoon, right? Back in the day, the cartoons on the 3-5 channels you have. And happened to be one of them was Speedy, cruising around, doing his thing, andale, arriba, arriba. Still working on rolling my, can do it sometime. But I also want to talk about developments around this character, this figure, this influence. He's important to me, so I can't deny that. But at the time, too, it wasn't considered inappropriate. It wasn't considered culturally inappropriate and how we're representing. But it's learning. It's learning to acknowledge how stereotypes, how judgment, how criticism, how even things that we can make sarcastic and funny might be interpreted and by others as not good. So being aware, raising our awareness to that, part of keeping the shirt on, because I was like, Speedy, I'm in the garden, and then taking it, and then I'm not gonna wear a Speedy Gonzales shirt and show the world, but I love this character. He's helped me be me. He's helped me understand myself as a child in all the way. Curiosity around the culture of Mexico. Understanding too, he probably wasn't designed and created by a Mexican to represent Mexico in a very healthy way. He was created to entertain, and he certainly did entertain. He drew me in, or the creator drew me in through Speedy. But then coming back, saying, okay, Speedy helps ground me. Speedy helps me be me and understand me. So I can return to that little boy who was intrigued by Speedy Gonzales and his antics and his move and his velocity. So coming back to Speedy, come back to me. Understanding Speedy. I respect the culture of Mexico. I mean no disrespect by wearing this shirt, by finding some intrigue in Speedy Gonzales as a child, by continuing to carry the character as something I hold very dear to myself. But I also want to recognize the impact Speedy has to reinforce stereotypes and to create division amongst people. So considering those aspects of a character, I probably will never wear this shirt again in public. Some other things I want to take into consideration with how he brought me back here today a little bit. He brought me back down to get to the garden, play in the dirt. I'm looking forward to my appointment, 8 o'clock. I wanted to look into that a little bit because at 8 o'clock, I'm looking at my watch. I get on my meeting with my therapist who happens to be in Brazil, so it's a different time zone over there. But I'm like, okay, it's 8:10. I know he's, what's going on? And then I'm already on there waiting for the meeting. And at 8:10 or 8:11, 8:12, he sends me a message, WhatsApp. And he says, I'm in the ER with my daughter. We'll reassess and reschedule. I said, okay. But I'm starting to churn, like, okay, I'm waiting around, my guy, let's go. I kind of want to talk Speedy. I want to talk a lot of stuff that's going on, process through, but he's got a situation. I get it. Okay, cool. I get back into my garden, planting the plumeria, which I actually was able to plant and complete with that. So I adapt, I adjust, I pip. All right, my guy had to do his thing. The tough situation arise unexpectedly with his daughter. That's my 8 o'clock meeting. My 9 o'clock client, he's got a situation. I'm setting up to meet with him online, and 9 o'clock, I see his text come through. Can we reschedule? Had an emergency last night with my girlfriend. I had to take her to the hospital. He's taking care of her. He's burnt. He can't meet today. Cool. Emergency number 2. Now I'm waiting around thinking about my 10 a.m., but my 10 a.m. client, he has an emergency situation. Well, he wasn't necessarily an emergency, but his partner, who's about to have his child, she and he have a doctor's appointment that he informs me about at about 8:30, 9 o'clock. All right, he's got that. 1, 2, 3. How do I adapt to the moment when 1, 2, 3 hours of my day have been changed? Well, thankfully for the garden, thankfully before that, Speedy got me. Bring it down, slow it down, and to find the power in present. I share that today because that is right now. My day is gonna keep going. I am going to keep going. We are going to keep going. But it's how are we going? I look often at how I'm going. I was, like I say, going, moving, shaking. Sounds like the world's been shaken up. Today, 3 changes that have completely shifted my day around. Power and presence, coming on back down. Pivot here, pacing, because I'm facing. Pop, that's part of the process. That's part of what I'm trying to do. That's part of what I want to share with you in our process to grow and to fresh and to really elevate what we are for each other, who we are ourselves, what we can continue to be as we go through and we go through it better. So wrapping it up here with the F3 response, fight, flight, freeze again. So I look at it as face oneself, find oneself, free oneself in response to the F3. But that is a challenge because of how automated we are in responding to stimuli. It hits us, we're triggered, off to the F3. Deciding what are those behaviors? What are my F3 tendencies? You know those. Just consider them for yourself. Break them down. Do I want to alter them? Maybe you don't. they're working, awesome. I've also come up with a little bit of a term that kind of reinforces those types of F3s, only almost to the point where we've kind of been numbed out to even realize we're fighting or fleeing, even freezing. I call that the superficial transitory sustainability objectives. Superficial transitory sustainability objectives. STSOs. Just a lot like just habits, behaviors that we form to, again, live out our lives. But I'm saying being aware of those STSOs, because we have been able to sustain life. We're alive, we live, we survive. But are we really up in our game? Are we really living to the potential and really taking on the responsibility, who we are in the human form, of what we are here for? So really going with that. I'm going to certainly look in and delve into a lot of the variations of the STSOs. I've actually created a marionette that ties into a lot of general ones to kind of waken myself up to how I fall right into those. And again, those are behaviors, those are tendencies, those are conditions of the human experience, some of which they get us going, they get us living and surviving, but they also trap us a bit. Almost like they're very quick to kind of numb us out, where we're not really paying attention to the process of going for more. If you accept complacency and want to live in those states, fine, that's good. I mean, that's everyone's, free will. That's ours to take and apply. But it's also considering, well, how am I really going about my day-to-day life? And that again is how is the importance of that PIP. Because when we have the power and presence, we start to really know ourselves. Know thyself. And really can learn to love thyself. Love yourself. I also have a term for that called unconditional self-acceptance. Unconditionally self-accepting, no matter the scenario. I've talked about this before, making where you are, where you're supposed to be. And where being, well, the location, the place you are, how you feel, who you're with, what's going on around you, what's going on inside you, and just saying, oh, this is where I'm at. No matter where, no matter what's happening, this is where I find myself, hence PIP, presence. There's power in it, just being there, which is right. And saying, slow it down, like I've done with Speedy helping me today, to say here, bring out the gavel if you need to. Here, where? Here. Coming back, pulling back in, and taking care of yourself, listening to yourself. What is it saying? Drawing from often through a pop, through pain, the purpose of pain, through a stimulus that affects us, through something, the signal. That's what the pop is. It's just the signal saying, have a response. But instead of having a response, we don't. We just automatic. I guess that's still a response, but it's almost like we just have those go-tos, those STSOs. They sustain us. Sure, they keep us going, but do they really give us the more efficient progression towards so much more we are, so much more we can be? With that, embrace the opportunities that present themselves day to day, moment to moment, but always considering power, presence, no matter how hard you're hit. I would really appreciate if you subscribe, comment, like, engage with me. Give me some responses. I want to share. I want to engage with you. Whatever you do, it's us here now doing it together so we can keep rising up, living on another level, really getting beyond living. And I've called it flourishing, prospering, elevating, progressing. So let's do this together. Again, subscribe, like, comment, back and forth. It's a collaborative, psychospiritual collaborative. Let's all go for it.